low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team or any team that you like, because I did a video about way too early power rankings, and now this video is just me and Andrew talking about them for what looks like a couple hours. Yeah, so put it on as background noise. Enjoy. Tell me what you think. Argue with us. I love it. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. The reason I'm not doing a bunch of shenanigans in the beginning of this video is because this video is so long. So long. So enjoy our dumb conversations about all the teams. This video was recorded about a week ago, so some slight things might be off, like the Tatar signing. But other than that, I think we pretty much nailed it. So enjoy. For those of you who don't know, Andrew here has not actually watched the video of my power rankings, but he does have the notes from it.
I do.
Which are pretty
I intentionally
close.
didn't watch it. I watch all your videos because I love you, but I intentionally didn't watch it because I wanted to come at it with a different perspective.
Nice. Well, I mean, I don't really have a plan for how this is going to go, but I do know that my list is flawless, and so we're probably just going to agree on everything and then be like a 4-minute video, right?
I mean that would be the easy part.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you already know I disagree vehemently with about probably 3/4 of your list. So.
Everything's gonna be off by one spot. Spot. What is there anybody on this list? Like, so I think this one we have to agree on. Mm-hmm. And we'll start at the back just because it makes the most sense.
Yeah, just start at the very bottom and then we'll work our way up. Probably it's probably the best.
Sharks are terrible.
Worst team in the league. Worst team in the league
by like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If we disagreed on that, I was gonna be really actually shocked, because even the Blackhawks have something.
I think Greer finally has an idea of what he needs, of what he wants to do, and I think this is where we disagree on the Sharks. I think he's done a decent job in bringing the vision of what he wants to the fore, but this year is going to be a whole lot of pain. A whole lot of pain.
Is his leash is going to be huge, though. Like, oh yeah, it's just get rid of everybody, right? And it inevitably, when Tomas Hertl next year is a Boston Bruin.
Yeah, keep dreaming, bud.
I want it. Why can't I have nice things?
Why can't I have what I want?
I just don't. I still, in hindsight, sure, but the Hertl signing at the time made all of the sense in the world to no one.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone sat there and went, why are you signing this guy who has so much value before that contract signing?
Because I think there is a logic to it, and it's we can't just have rookies and 23-year-olds. We gotta have at least a productive veteran in there.
Why?
Which is where still having Logan Couture is still a thing, I guess.
That's fine. You know who would have been in the Bedard sweepstakes had they traded Hertl?
Oh yeah, I think absolutely.
I mean, they're one of 3 teams to start it too late, is all I'm saying. Like, why did you not do this earlier? And they were still in the mix. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's they're doing what they need to do now. They still have a couple of contracts that they need to get rid of. I don't think Hertl's one of them. I think it's okay that Hertl's there, but they got to get rid of Vlasic. They got to find some way to get rid of Vlasic. Couture. But other than that, it's like Mikael Granlund's one of your top 6. Mikael Granlund is probably going to be one of your top 6 forwards. Did you just almost vomit?
He might be on the top line after the trade deadline.
Mike Hoffman's one of your top forwards, and we had a fight about that one in the now lost episode of the Short Shift.
I cannot even believe that you even think that guy's an NHL player at this point. That's not fair. That's not fair. But he's not a good one. We'll move on. We'll move on from the Sharks, who we do this. We talk about teams that we don't care about, but we'll just keep talking about them.
Yeah. And yeah, damn this chemistry.
Damn this chemistry. Although I will say the Blackhawks being next, I feel like we'd probably agree on that pretty well as well. Like they're
The Connor Bedard show.
Yeah.
Oh, I got hang on, I got the lens flare going on. There we go.
This will be so nice. Now you're not used to having a video in front of you, so people are gonna be watching. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Wonderful, 10 out of 10.
I mean, the only thing, if you're a Blackhawks fan, the only thing you care about is no injuries. Please, let's just watch the guy kick ass for a couple of years, and we'll build the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Point per game in his rookie year?
No.
60, 70?
I would say mid to high 60s. What did McDavid do his first year?
Got hurt.
Oh.
Broke his collarbone.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
Or maybe not the best question to ask.
Oh, my God. Actually, I just scrolled over there, and 48 points in 45 games. Maybe Bedard. I guess I'm just not used to generational talent. I don't know. Yeah. I just didn't think as an 18-year-old who would go point per game. That's just me.
Crosby had 103 points his rookie year.
I forgot about that. It's so hard to, I don't know, maybe for some people it's easy, but it's so hard for me to think of a teenager doing that in the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
It is pretty nuts.
Generational talents are generational for a reason. I hate how often people talk about generational talents and they just throw names out there and you go, nope, that's not the same thing. Any love for the Flyers?
Chuck Fletcher's out of there.
Yeah. They're at number 30, man, and they weren't
with a bullet.
They weren't 30th last year.
Yeah. Well, a very interesting development in the last hour. Carter Hart has gone private on Instagram and removed the Flyers from his bio.
Oh my God, I hate this shit so much.
I knew you would. That's why I mentioned it.
You know, during Rihanna's fucking halftime show for the Super Bowl last year, Tiffany had done some weird numbers thing. Mm-hmm. The amount of like time it was supposed to take or the time that started, I don't know. She was certain Taylor Swift was going to make an appearance because there was some sort of special number to it all. And that's what I feel like when someone's like, did you see him take the team out of his bio? Did you see that? Okay, yeah. Like, that's exactly what I think of every time.
Well, we're in a cult. First of all, this is different. I don't know how, but it is.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you for that point.
Second of all, does Tiffany watch your videos?
No.
Okay. Your girlfriend's in a cult.
Yes, she is. She's
okay.
100% in a cult.
My girlfriend is in a cult.
Now, my mom does watch my videos, and she is going to tell Tiffany so fast we said this.
Ellen, please don't tell.
No, tell her it's fine. I tell Tiffany all the time she's in a cult. Well, is this a year that the Tortorella stuff in that locker room gets a little old?
No, I don't think so. I think you got another year for that. Okay. I think it may get old for Tortorella. If you're talking about it getting old for the players, I don't think so. I mean, you have guys like Noah Cates who are thriving under a guy like Tortorella. And I think that's gonna have some notice. But it may get old for Tortorella being probably the worst team in the Eastern Conference this year.
It was genuinely hard to put them down this low, though, because even though they lost some talent, I really like a couple of their guys. Yeah.
They still have talent.
Like Farabee, I really like. Wade Allison, I think is going to be really good in this league. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a couple guys in there that I just really enjoy watching. Not as a whole. That whole team, I don't really want to turn on. But once in a while, I'll see their highlights and go, hey, nice.
Yeah, right. They just signed Morgan Frost to a bridge. You know, they got some players, but
Travis Sanheim is slowly becoming worse and worse as he just slogs through whatever the hell they're putting him through.
Good for him.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm going to rattle off the next four. Our 29th, 28th, 27th, and 26th. And we're not going to go over every single one of them, but like, hit me with the ones that stick out to you. We got Columbus at 29. We got Anaheim at 28. Montreal at 27. And Vancouver at 26.
Here's where I start to deviate from you. I think Columbus should be a little higher.
Were you on Columbus's side or the Islanders' side last year?
Columbus's side.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. All right. Please continue.
I think Columbus should be a little higher because I think Provorov and Severson are two very good acquisitions for them. Cole Sillinger is going to rebound from his sophomore slump. Kent Johnson's going to be a treat.
Dude, Kent Johnson's awesome. He's so
Kent
good.
Johnson's awesome. Marchenko had the best season I've ever seen just from a vibe standpoint. The guy had 15 goals before he had an assist.
Wait, was that Marchenko or was that
was
Arizona kid?
Marchenko, yeah.
Why did I think that was the Arizona kid? Michelli.
No, Michelli had like 15 assists before he had a goal. You have that completely reversed.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Michelli is the Finnish David Krejci.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I think Columbus should be a little higher, but I don't think they should be so high. But I think I think they are improved, and I think they'll be competitive this year. And plus, they have an actual NHL coach this year.
True.
In Mike Babcock, who, regardless of your feeling of him, can still probably coach in the league.
And he gives a first-year boost to every team he coaches.
Sure does.
Does Fantilli play this
year?
year?
Anaheim should be lower.
Well, before you go to Anaheim, does Fantilli play this year, do you think? I mean, he signed the ELC, but he's 18 years old.
Yeah, probably. He probably does play.
I think so too. I don't know. I don't think he's in the center position, but I think he's like a third line winger.
So a lot of 18 to 21-year-olds are going to be in that lineup this year. They're going to be fun. They'll be fun. They'll be fun to watch. If Merzlikins can rebound.
Oh my God.
They may be playing meaningful games before the trade deadline, at least.
I don't know if they'll ever be playing meaningful games. I'm not so
Ever.
sure about that. Ever again, I mean, like in the entire history of their franchise. That's mean. But their goaltending was atrocious. I mean, you even get a little closer to league average and you're a lot more fun.
Yeah, right. And Tarasov, if Tarasov can take a step, like I know in this very note you say, I hate if the young players can take a step. Well, if Tarasov can take a step,
it's not even when a young player. It's like, hey, if all of their young players take a step.
Right.
Elvis Merzlikins had an 876 through 30 games played last year. How did he even get to 30? My God.
To really put that into context of how bad the team was around them, Korpisalo had a goals against average of 3.1 and had a save percentage of over 910.
That's not great. I mean, the save percentage is, but not great.
That's not good.
Not good.
But I think Columbus should be a little higher. I think Anaheim should be lower.
Okay.
Because I hate them.
Yeah, but what if all the young guys take a step?
What if Troy Terry scores 40? What if Trevor Zegras scores 40? What if
Mason McTavish has a 68-point rookie season, you know?
Why 68?
I don't know, because it felt right. Leo Carlson, I'm so excited to watch play. I'm so excited about that kid.
I would have rather, he's going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I would have rather, if I'm a Ducks fan, as of right now, I am seething they didn't take Fantilli.
Yeah, I get that. Well, they just had so much center depth already.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much.
I don't care. Play the wing.
Yeah, get the best player. I agree with that.
Yeah, right.
All right, who's next?
Montreal.
Say something nice about Montreal, buddy.
Suzuki's okay.
Yeah.
Their number one defenseman went to BC, Mike Matheson.
We got something here.
Alex Newhook may develop nicely under St. Louis.
Yeah. Is it weird that St. Louis is the best part about that team right now? They have answers on the roster. They'll get better. They will get better.
They have answers on the roster. It's just right now they're not asking the right questions.
I don't think so either. But no. I hope St. Louis succeeds as a coach. I don't want it to be with the Habs, but I mean, hard to dislike the guy.
Here's where I probably deviate from you through in the biggest way.
Oh no, you're not okay.
I think Vancouver fights for a playoff spot.
Fuck you. Fuck you sideways. Are you kidding me right now? I can't. Oh, I didn't put their specific stats on this. Hold on. Let me find them. Let me find some.
No, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Do I have the wrong page up?
Yes, you did.
13th in offense, 25th in defense, 22nd in the league.
I really like Quinn Hughes.
Yep, fair.
Hronek over Ekman Larson is a significant upgrade in your top 4.
Yep.
Thatcher Demko is a lot better than he showed.
Okay.
Just don't wait. Do not pick him on your fantasy team.
I'm not going to do that. You're welcome, Vancouver. I'm not going to do that.
Demko is better than he showed. Pettersson is a beast. JT Miller, for all of his flaws, is still a 75, 80-point player. Kuzmensko almost scored 40 goals his rookie season.
He's good.
They have got some legitimate firepower in their team.
Connor Garland might rebound.
Connor Garland is what he is, which is a serviceable second line player.
I think their offense could be better than last year. I agree.
They will pump goals, and I believe Demko is better than. No, I think so. I think that they've got players.
I'm
they've got the players
to
do so. And like I said, Quinn Hughes is very underrated. Everybody knows that he's
crazy.
Everybody knows he's really good.
Yeah.
Nobody knows just how good he really is. Well, in the East Coast anyway.
I agree with that.
Hronek is a solid. He's fucking better than Oliver Ekman Larson in your top 4, man.
Look, I'm right there with you. Who on defense do you like past Quinn Hughes and Hronek? Who do you actually like where they're going to play?
Now, when I said they're going to fight for a playoff spot, I did not say they were going to make it.
Dude, fight for a playoff spot is still like 17th in the league.
I think they're around there, 17th, 18th.
Is there a
Tyler Myers is atrocious, which I know is where you're trying to pull me.
Thank you. Ian Cole, fine as a third pairing guy at best. Carson Soucy, you want on your third pair.
No, I think Carson Soucy could be a solid number 4.
Okay.
I really like Carson Soucy. I would have loved to have seen him on the Bruins. I'm not going to lie.
You're taking a team that has has upgraded in their top 4. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That is losing Bo Horvat's unbelievable shooting percentage.
Lol.
Which we're going to talk about the Islanders in a little while. We're going to have to talk about the Islanders in a little while.
Yeah, we are.
But you're losing that, which was a huge reason they were 13th offensively. Mm-hmm. Their forwards, like, none of them are good defensively. All of them leave the defense on a fucking island when it's in their zone.
Mm-hmm.
And Demko would have to really, really go off this year to really drag this team to relevant games after 2 months.
I don't know, man. I feel like this team has enough star power to make a lot of noise right now.
Does Peterson hit triple digits?
What?
Does Peterson hit triple digits?
Yes.
Wow.
Again, he did last year.
All right. I believe you.
So I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think in the same vein of will Columbus play meaningful games before the trade deadline, as opposed to, being out of it by January. I think Vancouver plays meaningful games later than you think.
They better have a great fucking offseason next year with the money that they are opening up, because this team needs a plan.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, they need a plan so badly.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like they know what the long-term plan is. It looks like they're still. I think this is owner driven. I think this is Aquilini driven, where everything is just sort of this year.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not for that team, at least.
Right.
Speaking of a forward plan, the Nashville Predators, I think this is kind of a polarizing position for them, because I could go about 3 spots lower and I could go about 4 spots higher.
I wish you went lower.
Yeah, I think there's a real argument for it. 25th in
Mhm.
my rankings. But who the hell is scoring goals for that team?
Can Luke Evangelista keep up the pace that he ended the year with last year?
What did he end the
16
year
points
with?
in 24 games?
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. I doubt it. I mean,
Can he?
they have no one
No.
to lean
Will
on.
he? Harder now.
Yeah, they have no one to lean on. These young guys, Tomasino,
Forsberg?
Parson. Forsberg, if he stays healthy, which I know this ranking's based off health, so I shouldn't even use that excuse.
No, Novak? Cody Glass?
Oh my God, how old is Cody Glass at this point? Because it feels like he's still 22. He's 24.
He's like 24 now.
The team's young. That's the good news. Is the team's young for the next wave and guys that you like. But
so I wish you would put him lower. But then the other part of me goes, yeah, but Saros.
yeah, Saros is so good. So good.
And what if
And their defense, for what it's worth, pretty solid.
what if they come to their senses and say goodbye to Kevin Lankinen and call up Askarov?
I mean, Askarov gets to play 16 games. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Quick quiz. How many games did UC Saros played in the last 2 years?
Last two? It's got to be 120, right?
131.
Holy shit. He's averaging 64, 65.5 math games a year.
131 games last 2 seasons.
That's nuts. That's the biggest workhorse in the league. I think he's taken over for Hellebuck, huh?
What does Kevin Lankinen do exactly?
Well, he's very supportive.
He opens the door.
Yeah, he's a people person. What would you say you do here?
As little as possible.
Well, he gets paid as much as he can while doing as little as possible, something that I strive for, so I'm not even going to bother.
He is goals, but
he's the same age as Saros, by the way. They're both 28.
That's really funny. I don't see much for Nashville unless Saros goes God mode. But Saros is capable of going God mode, which makes me hesitate in completely writing them off.
And that's why I think I had to put them where they are, because there's a chance Saros isn't even on that team at the end of the year. Like that's literally where we're at with them. We just don't know at this point.
I think Barry Trotz is doing the smart thing and he's evaluating what Poyle left for him.
I believe in Barry Trotz here. I do.
Yeah.
Especially because Poyle was so bad.
This is what he wanted. This is the job he wanted when he refused the Winnipeg job. Here you go, bud.
Well, to be fair, if it's between Nashville and Winnipeg, where are you going?
I mean,
no offense, Manitoba, but
Nashville is great. I love Nashville.
I like Nashville. I like it a lot. I don't think we have to spend any time on the Yotes. 24th feels right. They got some young guys that should take a little bit of a step. If Vemelka looks decent, I'm not even saying all of them. Some of them. I really like the Dursey acquisition. I mean,
they are icing a NHL caliber team this
year. For the first time in a long time.
Yep. Dumba, Dursey, Zucker.
Wait, was that where Dumba ended up? I didn't even remember that.
Yep, 1 year, 3.9 mil.
You know what? Good for him.
Yep. He's probably their number one defenseman.
Troy Stetcher's still in the league, so that's neat.
Talk about good for him. But they'll take a step, but I don't think they're anywhere near where they need to be.
No. And I think they're pretty comfortable with that as long as they take some steps forward.
Oh, I don't want to talk about Arizona anymore because I want to talk about this team.
I know. You said it in the beginning. Let's talk.
The Pacific sucks. The Pacific fucking blows. I think Calgary can finish as high as second.
Make your argument.
This is more indicative of the quality of team in the conference, in the division, rather than Calgary themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're out from under Sutter, and there will be a dead cat bounce for a lot of these players. Huberdeau especially. Huberdeau will rebound.
Mhm.
And I will end up being correct about the Tkachuk trade.
No, even if he rebounds, you won't. You won't be correct about it, but you can keep trying.
Markstrom, they have an interesting goaltending situation right now. Because what do you do with Dustin Wolf? He's probably ready. He's ready for the NHL. Because you have Markstrom, Vladar, and Wolf. What do you do?
I think if you can move on from Vladar, you do it. Or you'll let Wolf spend another year down there. Whatever.
And just dominate in the AHL.
Yeah, I mean, if your team starts to flounder, you call him up. To be fair, he did. What was his numbers last year? Holy shit! Oh my god, he posted a 932 through 55 games in the AHL.
Wolf, yeah,
He's an animal.
He's so fucking good.
Oh my god! In the
he is probably the best. He's probably the best non-NHL goaltender out there.
What did he? Yeah, Wallstedt looked good in stretches, but not what we thought he would for Minnesota. So you call him up whenever your team flounders, because I'm not a Markstrom believer. I've never been a Markstrom believer.
You've never been a Markstrom believer. And you know what? I mean,
overrated for
you haven't really been proven wrong.
Yeah,
But again, Markstrom is a capable starting goaltender. I think he'll be better than last year too. I think a lot of these players are going to be better than they were last year.
They
solid top four.
Have to be
solid top four.
Mm-hmm.
Their bottom six depth is a little shaky,
mm-hmm.
but this division is outside of Vegas. This division is garbage. So I think in a vacuum, maybe 23rd isn't unreasonable. But I don't know, man. I think that I think they have too good a talent. And again, being out from under Sutter's thumb is going to be huge for them. Really don't underestimate that part of it.
I'm going to push back on two things. The Pacific isn't great, but they're top heavy. Edmonton is not garbage. The Kraken, although not there yet, last year was a bit of a fluke, in my opinion, of how
they
far.
Take a step back.
I think they take it they're still working it out. They're doing it the right way. I like what Seattle's doing.
We'll go deeper into these teams. Okay.
And then
Seattle will take a step back.
The Kings are there too.
I don't trust Edmonton's depth.
Okay. But the Kings are also the equation. I just can't hear the Pacific is garbage and be like, that's not fully true.
Remember last year of how you said that the Kings are frauds?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the PLD trade made them a little worse.
That's fine. No, I totally, and we'll get there too. I had to rank the Kings higher than I wanted to. Trust me.
I do not trust the Pacific Division. So me saying that Calgary could finish as high as second in there is a little bit Calgary rebounding, but a lot more taking in the state of the division.
Here's your other issue. Come the trade deadline, what's the Lindholm decision? He wants out. He has been very sincere about that.
He's also really walked that back in the last few weeks.
To save face in front of his teammates for the season and knowing that he's only needs to do one more year? I don't know, man. I don't know if people change their minds that hard, that quickly. Backlund?
I will give you 9.5 million reasons why he could change his mind very quickly.
Guess what? He could get that in any city in the United States or Canada. So I don't want to hear it. Backlund also expiring contract. 34-year-old center. He's not going to get a long-term deal after this one from the team. Mangiapane, he's got 2 years left. There's a real conversation for they hit the deadline and they're in the conversation, but they pull the trigger on something knowing that they kind of have to. They have to go through a retool that they almost sort of did and fucked it up by shipping off Gaudreau and Tkachuk and the other guy they got rid of. Who I can't think of right now. God, who was that?
Who else did they get rid of?
Yeah, there was another. God, there's a third player. Doesn't matter. There's a real roadmap for the trade deadline coming around, and them just going, okay, this isn't going to work.
They're in second place in the Pacific Division. Do you think that they're going to sell?
I don't think they're going to be in second place in the Pacific Division.
I
So
don't know.
that's where we're going to disagree. I do think that they are one of the widest range of possibility teams.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
That's as far as I can take that. 23rd feels harsh, but it also doesn't feel harsh enough in some ways.
Mhm. Next.
Oh God. One of the least interesting teams on the planet.
I will. We will spend 30 seconds on this team. You ready?
Love it. Let's go.
Deepest spine in the league. Nothing else. Kyrou, Thomas, Shen, Hayes. That's your 4 centers.
It's pretty good.
Everything else, who cares?
Yeah.
This team is literally who cares.
It's not. They have a roadmap for being a really good team in a couple of years.
Mhm.
And I mean, Kyrou also like really fun to watch, sure. But
Buchnevich is one of the most underrated players in the league. I guess they don't have. I guess I'll walk that back a little bit.
no, but like their first line, they have guys like there's a little bit of entertainment there, but for the most part, very boring team, not very deep. Defense is ranging from old and just out of it to young and out of it. Like none of their, I'm looking at the ages. None of their defense is even that old. They've just aged very quickly. And Jordan
hang
Binnington's
on.
terrible,
Their defense is a conundrum because a lot of them are in their 30s now, and they all have modified no move clauses.
And they all get paid. They all get paid.
Marco Scandella made $3.1 million last year to play 21 games. He was their 7th defenseman.
You love to see it.
They couldn't send him down to the minors because he had a no move clause.
The Blues, everyone. 22nd just feels right. Look, in 2 years, they could be right back to contending status. They have a roadmap. There's pieces and moves to be made. They could also be going
Binnington and fire Berube, and you got it.
Yeah, they could also go the exact opposite direction. Okay, so you and I both know this. Other people might not know this. We did not have some sort of technical issue that cost us multiple days of recording. That didn't happen. That did not happen.
Nope.
We look exactly the same.
Nope. Yep.
We're in the same place.
Yep.
Everything is great.
Yep.
And I definitely didn't have no internet through the entire first day of football. It was great. It was a great weekend. I mean, we're still in the weekend. Shit, whatever. So
totally
we went
not fuck Comcast.
Fuck Comcast so much. Oh, so we got to the kind of bottom dwellers pretty well, and to kind of speed this up a little bit as far as like the mushy middle. I'm just gonna list off like 6 or 7 teams, and you stop me when you feel like, all right, this is a bad ranking for them.
Okay.
And if you stop me on the first one, I swear to God.
Okay. Well, I'll be the judge of whether you put the first one in the right spot.
At number 21, we have the Washington Capitals. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Ovi for the goal record. There we go.
Ovi for the goal record. Nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. Maybe a center gets traded. Not worth our time right now.
Yeah.
Number 20, a team that's stalling out, the Detroit Red Wings.
I would put them a little higher, but not by much. Not enough to quibble.
Not enough to quibble. I get it.
Yeah.
I think we can both, one little comment on them, both agree that the free agent moves are the weirdest part of the Yser plan.
Is there an Yser plan? Does the Yser plan exist at this point?
And if it does, is it a good one?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot to say about the team.
Is there an Yser plan, or are there Yser plans?
Like individual plans that don't work together well, because that's how I build teams.
Yeah, right. Yep. That's how you do franchise mode, man.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. By the way, the Bruins are winning the cup in 2025. My franchise mode. We had Bedard in that version, but whatever. At number 19, the Winnipeg Jets.
Another one where I think they should be lower, but not enough to quibble. I like the PLD trade for them in terms of they got back a couple of good players. but I don't like them. I don't like them. Like, I don't like how they're constructed. Kevin Cheveldayoff should have been fired years ago. They need to figure out what they need to do. They're not good enough. They're not good enough.
And I want to point out a huge part of the reason they're ranked so lowly is because, or highly, however you want to see that, is because after the trade deadline, they might be without one of the best goaltenders in the league and their number one center.
Yep.
It's a real possibility that Scheifele and Hellebuck are both out the door at the trade deadline.
The decision has to be made for them.
Yeah.
Because Cheveldayoff won't do it.
And so
they're trying to keep one foot in each aisle.
We can just kind of have this little conversation then about them, because our fans of the Winnipeg Jets, not rooting for injuries because that's fucked up in itself, but rooting against the interest of the team this year. Do they want to see this kickoff, or do they want to see this team continue to try to put together a champion?
Right. But whatever they're doing isn't working at this point. The leadership core has gone through a lot, and they already jettisoned one of the ringleaders of that in Wheeler. They bought out Blake Wheeler. Yeah. How badly do you have to think that is your main locker room problem to buy out Blake Wheeler? Yeah.
That's an interesting move in itself. And to give them one excuse, I don't know if there's any team who has had as bad luck. I'm having trouble saying that. The bad luck they've had through the past 4 or 5 years, subtly, just injuries and things of that nature, just things don't go this team's way ever.
Yeah.
Tough to be a Jets fan.
Yeah.
Tough to be a Thrashers fan.
Yeah. There's only 3 of them left in the league.
Yeah. Number 18, Ottawa Senators. On the rise.
On the rise, totally. I think that's about where they should be. I will say, if they weren't coached by DJ Smith, they'd be higher for me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like DJ Smith. I think DJ Smith was fine for when they were putting together the rebuild. I don't think he's the guy to put him to the next step.
Yeah. I love the Chychrun edition so much. Too much. I know too much. But the Tarasenko edition does nothing for me. So,
which is interesting because it does something for me. It does something for me. Tarasenko isn't what he once was. He doesn't drive his line anymore. But I think he could still pot 30 over there.
Yeah, I still think he's a good player. It's just as far as what that team needs, he's not the solution to it, in my opinion.
Neither was DeBrincat, to be fair. So it's not like.
Hopefully he works out better than DeBrincat did.
Yeah. DeBrincat was apparently mad that he was behind Brady Tkachuk at the on the depth chart, which my response to that is play better.
That's their franchise guy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Holy. I get it. I get the competitive fire though. At 17, dude, so mid. This team is so mid. Am I young now? I said the word. New York Islanders.
I don't care enough to care about your ranking of them.
Yeah. All right, good. We're in agreement there. One we have to talk about. Number 16, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Break down what this team is to you this year. What is this team actually going to be?
I have them higher. I think they rebound somewhat. I think Erik Karlsson is a wonderful short-term addition. That power play is going to be. That's a horny power play. Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang, Karlsson.
Oh, that's right. They're going to be running 2D on their first power play unit. Something you just don't see as much anymore.
No. And I believe that's going to vault them higher than they should. They may be buoyed by special teams. Long term, that Karlsson deal's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, it is.
But short term, we're just talking about this season. This team's older than the Hills. They're still employing Jeff Carter, who has lost it. Ask a Penguins fan about Jeff Carter. Say the name Jeff Carter in front of a Penguins fan. They will froth at the mouth and try to attack you.
It's not great.
No, but I think they're higher. I think they're higher than 16th.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Carlson addition was a great addition for them. I think getting rid of Granlund was a great unaddition for them. I don't know. I'd say like 13th or 12th instead. But
a team that won't be favored in any playoff series come the end of the year, but could win some. Like, if you give me a fully healthy Penguins squad, I'm not picking them over anyone, but I am absolutely watching that series and knowing that they can win the series. That would be, oh my God, the team's gonna be so fun.
It depends which Jari you get too.
Yeah. I thought gambling on him, although a little overpaid in my opinion, gambling on him, not the worst choice in the world.
Well, they gambled on him because they turned around because they didn't feel like they had a choice. It seems like, depending on who you believe, that there was a trade with Boston involving Linus Ullmark, and it got far enough where the Bruins interviewed the guy they were going to take with the Penguins' first-round pick that they were going to acquire in the trade. They interviewed Oliver Moore the morning of the draft.
They loved him too. Oliver Moore kept popping up over and over again as we approached the draft.
They love that guy. Yeah. And I think he's probably going to be a solid pro.
Yeah.
But Dubas overplayed his hand. Again, depending on who you believe.
Yeah. And look, there's this offseason, they talked a lot about the goaltending just availability around the league. And then it felt like it dried up just like that.
Do you think it was over-evaluation of the goaltending position or a misevaluation?
Over-evaluation. Over-evaluation by a lot. I think some young guys stepped into roles and some of the aging guys just didn't look healthy anymore. And it just cleared away a lot of options.
Okay.
The reason I have the Penguins at 16 is because there are 12 teams ahead of them that I really think are like really good teams. And then a handful that have a ceiling higher than them, I think. Speaking of teams with a high ceiling, low floor, the Boston Bruins at number 15, I could not get them any higher. And I fucking tried.
I know you tried. So I had a discussion about this today, actually. It was productive. About how many points is Bergeron and Krejci worth in the standings?
Okay, well, all right, if we're going to do that exercise. So last year, 135 points. The true talent of that team, because you don't get to 135 without a perfect scenario for the most part. True talent of that team, let's call it 124. Still a fucking incredible season. But you can't tell me that team hits 135 9 times out of 10.
That was just time number 10. That was just the 10th time.
Yeah, that was just the 10th. So let's call it 124 points. Bergeron and Krejci. How many points are they worth? What did you guys come up with?
30.
That puts us
94 points.
94.
Right in that mushy middle.
95 points, for those of you who don't know, is your bar for making the playoffs. If you hit 95, you're most likely, not all the time, most likely in the playoffs.
Here's the thing, though. That's a vacuum. Bergeron, you take Bergeron and Krejci away, that's 30 points. If you do 124 and have 94, that's 30 points. Now, how much are all the additions worth? If it's a positive number, it's single digits.
James Van Riemsdyk,
Morgan Geekie, Jesper Boquist,
Shattenkirk,
Kevin Shattenkirk.
Those
are the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, let's be generous. Let's say those guys are worth 12 standings points. Let's call 12.
Okay, 12.
All right, so you're back up to 106. What was Taylor Hall worth?
4 to 6 points.
Yeah.
I have them right at 100 points, by the way.
I mean, yeah, there you go. There's your 100 points.
Yeah. 45, 27, and 10.
I think that's reasonable. I genuinely think it is. I stare at this team and go, you don't have 2 top 6 left wingers because JVR isn't one to me. You don't have 2 top 6 centers. because neither Zaka or
Zaka
Coyle.
can be. I think Zaka can be.
I think he's a top
Zaka
6
can
wing.
be.
I think he's a top 6 wing. I don't think he's a top 6 center. And I don't think that's like rude or unbelievable. I just don't see him as that guy.
No, no, how dare you? Fuck you.
So your top 6 like guys who actually belong in the top 6 are DeBrusk, Marchand, and Pastrnak. And you're hoping Zaka fills a steady 2C role. And you're hoping you have one other guy pop off and you go, shit, he's a great addition to the top 6. Mm-hmm. And then you just know that you're one center shy.
I think JVR can have a slight rebound.
Sure. Slight rebound still doesn't put him in the top 6 to me.
16, 17 goals, maybe 20.
At that point, put Frederick on that left side and see if he can do it.
Sure,
like if your absolute best case scenario for JVR is 16 or 17 goals in a position where he gets 16 minutes a night, why aren't we got to try a couple other things then, if that's your best case scenario?
There's going to be a lot of experimentation, and there's going to be a lot of experimentation at the beginning of the year. We're going to see some top line geeky. You know that, right?
We're not on the first line.
We'll see it for spurts. In the
preseason or in an NHL game?
In an NHL game.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, you sit there with a straight face and tell me Jim Montgomery doesn't like to just fuck with his lines.
Jim Montgomery fucks with his lines less than Bruce Cassidy did. Tell me I'm wrong. You telling me I'm wrong, bro? The Wicked Witch of
She came down in a bubble, Doug.
I can't. A Geeky will not. Oh, man. You want to talk about a beer bed? Geeky's not going to touch a top line unless there are at least 2 real injuries. Okay. Just soundbite that. We'll soundbite that. We got to move on. This is supposed to be about all the teams. Is 15 unfair to the Bruins, though?
I'd put them a couple spots higher. I think they make the playoffs. I don't want to say easily, but I think they make the playoffs with relative. I don't think
100 points is
too much
handily.
In April.
100 points is handily. Like you were, It wasn't easy, but you handily made it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A team I loathed putting here at number 14, the LA Kings.
I hate them.
I'm
not. They got Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Yep.
Your defense is Drew Doughty, Vladislav Gavrikov, and hope of Brant Clark. Mm-hmm. Mikey Anderson everyone else is a bottom pair defenseman.
And Mikey Anderson's a good bottom pair defenseman, by the way.
He's a good bottom pair
defenseman. A good bottom pair defenseman.
But he's a bottom pair defenseman.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a good team. Mikey Anderson is a bottom pair on a good team.
Yeah. Yep.
And
it feels like you're missing still 2 defensemen.
Yes. How much?
If Clark works out for you. If he works out for you. You're still missing 2 defensemen.
They are really hoping that that Brant Clark and maybe a guy like Tobias Bjornfot pops off.
Yeah. Clark, by the way, 20
young.
Years old. 20.
Clark is so young.
So young.
And he destroyed the OHL last year, which good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But this is way different, buddy boy.
By the way, the OHL by any real NHL talent gets fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Like points are so easy to come by in the OHL.
Yeah.
That's so rude. You know what I'm saying there. That's so
no,
rude.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But back to the Kings for a second. Like I said, I like the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Blake saw his guy and went for it.
Mm-hmm.
But this team has no depth. They have depth in the forwards.
Wings
specifically.
Yeah.
Your goalie tandem is Cam Talbot and Phoenix Copley. With that defense, I don't know, man. I disagree vehemently with number 12. 14, I'm sorry. I disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with that
17,
too.
18? You'd put him down there?
Yeah, I'd put him down. I don't like
until you saw Clark, Byfield, and Kaliev, I assume, like really making waves. All 3 of those guys have to be good this year for them to be real.
I think a lot of the onus falls on Clark. I think that might be a little unfair. but
Yeah.
a lot of it falls on Clark. They are expecting Clark to step into a top 4 role.
Which, look, all signs point to he can. Like, all signs point to, like, yeah, but at 20 years old, that just feels early.
Yeah. Right.
I had somebody real upset at me about the ranking of 14 for the Kings because he was like, how are we not? We finished 10th in the league last year. Our goaltending didn't get worse. And I'm like, all right, well, you're not exactly wrong about that.
I mean, yes, it did. Korpisalo was great for them.
At the end of the season, yeah, but he only got, like, what, 20 starts with them, maybe?
Less than that. But
Yeah.
he was great.
Yeah.
Copley held down the fort like a good 1B should. They have 2 1Bs as their goaltending. And they had a legitimate starter at the end of the year. Your goaltending got worse.
Yeah, which they let walk because he was given a hell of a deal. I don't even actually. Where the hell did he go?
Ottawa.
Oh, that's right, Ottawa. I think Ottawa's going to regret that one. I like him too, Korpisalo, but felt like a big one. It's the Seattle Kraken, 13th. I mean,
12% shooting percentage last year as a team.
What did you say?
Know how insane that is?
What was it?
12%.
Oh.
The average is 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how fucking crazy it is to go up by 2% considering the volume of shots you have to take?
Also considering that they roll 4 lines deep, and so all lines are getting shots on net. Like, yeah.
That's going to regress.
I totally agree. And 13th feels a little high to me too. I'm gonna concede that already.
Right.
But they're just deep everywhere other than goaltending. Oh my god, the goaltending's bad. So bad.
Do you think a guy like Drager can take a step, can and stay healthy?
We've said that for 3 years in a row though. Like, at what point do you just go, bah? I don't know.
Yeah.
And Grubauer's never. There's no return of Grubauer. It's not happening.
Grubauer took his money, and I don't want to say that he did the Bobrovsky and said, fuck you boys, I'm out. But it seemed like he took his money and reverted back to what he was before he got the money.
Yeah, it's been bad for him. It's been horrid for him.
Yeah. Martin Jones outplays you. You got a problem.
You do have a problem. God, fuck Martin Jones. We're going to talk about him in a little while, actually.
We are.
Unfortunate. I do love this team, though. Beniers is the next Bergeron, potentially.
100%.
Shane Wright is waiting in the wings to just be a stud. They've got a couple other young prospects you get excited about.
Keep an eye on Ty Karchai.
Karchai?
Yeah. Karchai. A guy who came in during the playoffs last year, didn't play a single game in the NHL, came in, scored a goal on his first shift in the playoffs, had 5 points in 10 games. He's a player too.
They built this thing the right way.
Yep. And everyone was like, why didn't you do what Vegas did? And Ron Francis said, shut up. And he was right.
The thing I'm scared about is this team performs really well. Trade deadline comes around and they pay big for Hellebuck. And I'm just like, no quick fixes. Like, still continue to build. You've got this young core coming up. You do need an answer in net. It's not going to be the aging
What if Hellebuck
vet.
comes with a 4-year extension?
Do you want... How old is Hellebuck right now? Maybe I'm just
28.
Wait, what?
I believe he's 28 years old.
See, this is what I mean. Is sometimes I have these ages in my head for players that are so wrong. Oh, if he's actually a 4-year extension, 28 through 32.
How old is he? 30, excuse me. He's 30.
30. Okay, that's a little closer to what I thought it was. I thought he was 32 for some reason. Feels like he's been a great goalie of this league for over a decade.
UMass a little great, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's still kind of like... I don't know. I don't want to spend big assets on a guy that doesn't fit my window the same way that I think my window is.
I mean, your window is how long Matty Beniers can keep and maintain being a 1C.
I would guess the next 14 years. I am so high on him.
That's your window.
Yeah.
Hellebuck fits that.
Yeah. Well, are they ready right now, though? That's the thing.
You have to figure out you have to figure out what was a fluke. I think a 12% shooting percentage is a fluke.
Sure, yeah.
But does Jared McCann get 35 goals instead of 40? Do they miss a guy like Daniel Sprong?
Yes, absolutely they do.
Does Kyler Yamamoto replace him effectively?
Meh.
Yeah. But there are some questions with this team.
I hope Tolvanen goes off this year for them.
Does Tolvanen replace the Daniel Sprong efficient sniper who doesn't get any ice time, but you look up and he has 22 goals?
Do you remember when Tolvanen was the best prospect in hockey for 3 years running for the Preds, but couldn't seem to crack the lineup?
Remember when David Poyle let him go on waivers?
Decisions. And number
Remember
12.
when that happened and Barry Trotz was like, time to go to bed, bud.
Yeah. Oh my God. At number 12, we have the Florida Panthers, a polarizing location.
Fuck them, though.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Only 92 points last year.
No. They don't make the playoffs if they're in the West.
Which is so strange to say out loud, considering all year we talked about the East is way better than the West.
Yeah, they don't make the playoffs if they're in the West.
How about that?
Bobrovsky turned into a pumpkin. Which Bobrovsky is the real Bobrovsky, Ian?
We know which one. Oh my. Oh.
The one that went Nova for 2 rounds, or the one that got pumped 9-3 in a clinching Stanley Cup game? Which is closer?
I think the guy who sucked for 2 years outside of a 6-week stretch. I think that's the guy that he is.
I think you have him. I think you have them way too high.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. They're probably a top 5 offense again.
You're starting the year without Brandon Montour and Aaron Ekblad.
Yep. I still think they're probably a top 5 offense or in that realm. Defensively, they're not going to get that much worse than 21st.
You're starting the year without Brandon Montour and Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson is in your top 4. Mike Riley might crack your starting lineup.
Mike Riley is an NHL defenseman, first of all. Don't start with that shit. Like, we know this.
He's an NHL defenseman.
On your third pair.
You don't want him any higher than that, and he might start the year top 4.
I'm not saying they're not going to have injury issues. They absolutely are. But that's another thing that we talked about the Bruins last year with the injury issues. Mm-hmm. They just rocked right through it. A few teams did, actually.
Do you have the faith in this team to do what they did?
Oh, God, no. But I do have the faith in this team not having the worst shooting percentage through the first 3 quarters of the season. Just they had horrid shooting luck almost the entire year. Turned it on at the end. Alex Lyon saved their season, which I don't think will be necessary this year. Their goaltending is my biggest concern. Defense.
Alex Lyon got signed by Detroit, and he's going to start the year as the starter for the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Good for them. My God, Detroit, figure it out. I just think the Panthers offensively can match most teams and should be in the mix.
Can you rely on winning every game 6-5?
Through the regular season? Yeah, you can.
I don't know if you can even do that in the regular season.
I'm pretty sure you can.
You'll be
good enough to make the playoffs? Yeah, I think you can.
Okay.
You can argue too high. I'm fine with the argument of too high, but that team should be in the mix. 100%.
I do not trust Bobrovsky, and I do not trust the defense, and I especially don't trust the defense because Ekblad and Montour start the year hurt, and those are your top 2.
We agree on all that, and yet that team should still be in the mix.
Okay.
Idiot. Anyway.
There it is.
I love this pick. Number 11, Minnesota Wild.
$69 million cap.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Competitive as fuck.
Nice. But where's your ceiling?
Oh, conference finals at best. But as we know, it's playoff hockey. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. They lost Dumba. Their defense, I think, is okay. I love Kaprizov. I love Matt Boldy. They've got pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the Kings, they're going to rely on another defenseman to step up, Brock Faber, to step up and play middle 4 minutes. Maybe not like a Brant Clark top 4, but middle 4 minutes. And you'll see how he responds. But what do you do about the goaltending? Gustafsson and Fleury. That's a pretty good tandem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean by what you do about the goaltending.
Do you platoon it, or do you just sit? Do you tell Marc-Andre Fleury you're a backup now?
Oh, he's a backup now, which is fine.
Okay.
Gustafsson, you're looking at somewhere between 54 and 58 starts. You have a decent platoon, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair for them. I think the biggest issue I'm having is they need to be healthy this year, obviously. Mm-hmm. But they desperately need these guys to stop being so damn streaky. Boldy, Hartman, Johansson, Zuccarello, like all year last year. Cold for a month, awesome for 2 weeks, cold for a month, just back and forth. If they could get a little more consistent, Kirill stays healthy, that team is pretty good defensively, pretty good in net, and pretty good on the offensive side too. They should be making waves.
There are a lot of pretty good, but do you think that they're a team that goes out and gets a big piece at the deadline? Do you think they can afford to get a big piece at the deadline?
They still have one more year after this one with the $14 million in cap hit for the buyouts. I'm pretty sure. So if they can make it work, yeah, why the fuck not?
They actually do have cap space to enter the year.
More than you think too. What's going to be really funny is not after this year, but next year, they are going to be looking at a cap spike all on their own. Because those buyouts are going to end and they're going to turn into $1.4 million buyouts or whatever they are at that point, rather than 14.
It's going to be 1.4 combined, I believe.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Yeah, I love that team. I love watching that team. I love betting on that team. They're just a really enjoyable hockey team to watch.
Their coach looks like someone you don't want to fuck with too, Dean Evison.
Dude, that whole team, yes, that whole team is a team I don't want to fuck with.
Yeah. Now they got Pat Maroon too.
Oh, and honestly, that's a good addition for your bottom six. Fat Pat, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shy away from Fat Pat. That's not fat shaming. It's a fun joke. Leave me alone.
Fat Pat bangs your mom.
Fat Pat bangs your mom. Like, he really should have leaned into it.
He really should have banged my mom.
Not my mom. God, my mom watches this, damn it. Hi, Mom. At number 2. There's one guy that I'm pretty sure I've convinced I live in my mom's like basement. So like every now and again, just shout over like to my mom in the kitchen. Pretty sure he believes it. And number 10, super quick, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Who the fuck cares? They're still good enough to be top 10, but barely. We all know what they are. They're a lot less deep than they used to be. They're still great. The core is still great. Brandon Point's a fucking monster. Vasilevsky's a monster. Stamkos is great. Kucherov is great. Like, who cares?
Yeah, no notes.
No notes. Fuck them.
I think the hubris of Julian Brisebois and fuck them kids is going to come home to roost sooner than later, though.
I think you won 2 cups and went to a third final off of it. No notes. You guys paid the price to do everything you wanted to do, and you tried to keep it going. I can't even criticize that. Like,
I can criticize giving up 5 picks for Tanner Jeannot.
That I can criticize. Yes, I can criticize that. Yeah. Huh.
There's no.
Like the Hagel trade looked bad with the 2 firsts. But there was always a sense of like, well, Hagel's pretty damn good. And now he's in their top 6 and he's great with them. He's awesome for them.
Yeah. Not just 2 firsts, 2 firsts and 2 young guys. Tkachuk and Radish.
That's right. Which, but
Radish turned out pretty good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see this trade being the same way. Hard to see that work out. They basically traded a whole draft for him.
Yeah. 23% shooting percentage. You traded for him, banking that he was going to repeat that year, while he was in the middle of showing that he wasn't going to repeat that year.
Oh, you mean like the Islanders and Bo Horvat?
Oh yeah, that
Do you,
thing.
do you know what Bo Horvat's pace through 82 games was with the Islanders?
With the Islanders,
His goal pace through 82.
was it 28,
It was
29?
19.
Gross.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
after he went on a bender in Vancouver,
Yeah.
where his pace was what, 60?
Something like that. It was well above 40.
Mm-hmm.
He's closer to the 30 goal scorer than he is the 20 goal scorer, but still, it was the most predictable switch in shooting luck ever. And Islanders fans were caught unawares somehow.
Yeah, and you don't pay attention. Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
look at the roster construction. What did you think?
Bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Fuck them though.
Fuck them.
What do we got at number 9, boyo?
I think we got a team that we really need to talk about. This is fucking beautiful. The Buffalo Sabres.
Not the Goats.
I could have put them higher. I could have put them higher.
You'd be wrong if you did.
Yeah, I definitely would have been wrong had I. Did you remember that their offense was 3rd in the league last year?
Yes, I did.
You remember that?
I did, because Tage Thompson is a superstar in this league, Ian. He's a superstar in this league, Ian.
Yeah.
He's a superstar in this league.
Just
Ian.
like I always knew he'd be.
And if that's not the truth, may lightning strike him dead.
Well, got nervous for a second. Missed the playoffs by 1 point, 91 points in the season. Andrew, I'm going to ask you this before we get into it.
Yeah.
Did they get worse? Yeah, you don't want to answer it.
No, I'm actually good faith thinking about this.
Oh, that's rare. All right, what do you got?
Oh, fuck you.
What? This got so combative.
Clifton for Labushkin was basically the biggest change.
Which at worst is a lateral move.
Clifton for Labushkin. Craig Anderson retires. Your goalie tandem now is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi. What is Devin Levi? No.
Eric Comrie is right there.
What is Devin Levi?
An unknown. He's an unknown. A rookie.
Is that worse than Craig Anderson?
Well, not when you got Eric Comrie right there.
Okay.
What?
Comrie.
Luukkonen, I have some faith to be able to be part of a tandem.
Okay.
Which is scary because you don't like their goaltending situation. 100%.
It's not that I don't like it. It's that I really like Devin Levi. I just don't know if he's the guy now. He may need to be the guy to take that next step.
Either way, Sabres fans are pumped. Either way, Sabres should, outside of injuries, always outside of injuries, they should be making the playoffs. You're telling me they can't find 4 more points in the standings this year? They can't do that? Did they have a lucky season? I don't think so.
I think they may have. There may have been a little bit of luck involved.
I mean, maybe they're not 3rd offensively every year. Like, I'll give you that.
I still think there are questions.
Yeah.
They need one more top 4 defenseman, I think, before I can truly believe in them as a playoff team.
Sure. Yeah.
And the goaltending needs to prove. And also, is Tony Granato the right guy for this next step?
No. All of that. Yes, they need another defenseman. Granato is not the guy. Not the guy. And their goaltending isn't good. Here's the thing. They've got star power out the ass right now. Young star power. They are a genuinely solid team. And they just need some goaltending to be playing meaningful games in fucking March.
I think there is a I think we found this also with Florida. I think we have a fundamental philosophical difference in how much we weigh offensive firepower as opposed to not having a sound, strong defense.
No, here's my issue with this. I am a big believer in needing structure and goaltending. I am genuinely a big believer in that.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that strengths sometimes make up for weaknesses. It's a real thing. And when you talk about top 5 offenses in the league, those are the teams that are allowed to have weaker defenses and goaltending to at least get to the playoffs. If you're talking about a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, who ranked 8th offensively last year, right now you took away Vasilevsky and took away Sergachev. You immediately go like, that's not a playoff team. That's not a playoff team. Mm-hmm. Because their offense isn't prolific. It's not world beater offense. Mm-hmm. I think the Sabres are. I think the Panthers could be.
I want you to just take this in, what you've done. You have put the Tampa Bay Lightning under the Buffalo Sabres.
And I feel good about it. I'm not even blinking with this. The balls of steel right now. Like I would
credit to you.
I put in a bet on it. I would legitimately bet that, at least power rankings aside, in the standings, I think the Sabres are right there with Tampa next year. Right there.
No.
How bad were the injuries for Tampa this year? As I start to have a little doubt creep in. I think their offense is that good. I think their depth offensively is really good. It's really good.
They have a very good team.
And
the goaltending and the defense needs slight improvement.
Rasmus Dahlin might win the Norris next year.
Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power is a legit top pair.
Dahlin might win the Norris next year. He legitimately could win the Norris next year.
He could.
He's probably not going to, but he could.
I could also sign an AHL contract tomorrow.
Do you really think those are the two same things? Do you think those two are the same things? If you take Cale Makar off the planet right now, I bet Dahlin's...
If you take the perennial Norris contender off the planet right now,
yes, I need to even the playing field here. I need to even the playing field here. You took him off the NHL right now. I'm betting Dahlin has the 5th or 6th best odds to win the Norris. He's literally that good to me. Now you have McAvoy, you have Fox, you have Heiskanen, Yossi.
Dahlin's a top 10 defenseman in the NHL.
And then you're in that like Quinn Hughes, Rasmus Dahlin area, like those guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think he's a dark horse.
Oh, he's a dark horse for sure, but he could that's what I'm saying is he could be in that conversation. He's that good. Mm-hmm. Owen Power's not there yet. He's not there yet, but Owen Power's very good.
Mattias Samuelsson is a good top 4 defenseman.
He's a good top 4 defenseman. They have pieces. They need more.
They need one more. They need one more legitimate. I don't think Connor Clifton is that guy. Sorry, Cliffy hockey fans.
And guess what? They're going into the season with almost $9 million in cap space. One of the few teams to have real cap space.
Maybe Kevin Adams knew what he was doing.
He's made some good moves. I have a hard time with these teams that sucked for 12 years. And then we're like, hey, we have all these young prospects that are really good. And you're like, yeah, sure. Good. That's what okay.
Well, to be fair, the other two guys had years worth of high prospects and couldn't do diddly dick with them.
Yeah.
Kevin Adams was the first one to do something with them.
Because of their shaky goaltending, Buffalo is going to be one of the must-watch teams of the year. Every game with them is going to be so fucking exciting.
But then what if they're not shaky? What if Devin Levi is that dude?
Then they vaulted to the top 5 in the league. That's how fucking good their offense can be.
You are so high on them.
Okay. Hold on. Skinner, I don't love. You can take the Skinner contract. This is amazing. They have Skinner getting paid $9 million, and they're still this good.
Skinner had 35 goals last year. You want to talk about luck?
Well, largely thanks to his. No, I'll give him credit. He had a resurgence. I don't know if he does it again this year. The offense might regress a little bit. Like, obviously,
right?
They had a bunch of guys with a lot of. Anyway, Skinner, Thompson, Cousins, Olofsson, Tuck, Greenway, Middlestat I really like. Girgensons I really like. Kyle Okposo is just a good vet to have around. Even though I never say his name right. Peyton Krebs is on Peyton
Jack
Krebs.
Quinn.
Jack Quinn. I mean, man, this team has so much on as far as forwards go.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single one of those guys I named, you'd be like, yeah, I'd have them on my team in some way, shape, or form. Most of them, you'd be like, that'd be in my top 9.
Mm.
They built a team. There's a squad in Buffalo.
There's a squad. I need one more piece before I'm as sold on them as you are.
Oh, but I have them 9. I don't have them 3.
No, I know where you have them. I need one more piece.
You would put Tampa above them.
Yes,
You'd put Minnesota above them.
I'd think about it, but yes. But I wouldn't put them. I wouldn't put them lower than 11th.
Okay, so you put them 11th.
Yeah. But there seems like there's like a massive difference between out of the top 10 and in the top 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
You're wrong. Okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the Rangers because we just spent so much time on Buffalo. And we know what the Rangers are.
God, I don't care. I don't care about this team.
The world number 1 in net. Like, debatably, but like there's no way he's not included in the conversation. No. Lafreniere continues to disappoint, but he's on your third line. And he still adds value.
Yep. Kako too.
Kako might make the next step. I don't know. And their top 4 is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fox, Lindgren, Trouba, and Miller is Keandre Miller. Holy shit, dude. That guy.
I love Keandre Miller.
Me too. I love watching him play so much.
I still don't care about this team, man. Like,
forwards have no depth. Their top 6 is strong. That's it. Like, we see the same team every year, and every year they fall short for the same reasons.
And guess who's coaching them now? Peter Laviolette.
Just doesn't do anything for me.
Yep. It's Gerard Gallant part 2. He'll get something out of him that first year, and then what happens?
Yeah. And you know what? The next team, it's basically the same conversation, but in reverse. The Devils. We know what they are. They just showed us all last year. They're young and exciting. They haven't made a ton of changes, but if
they didn't make a ton of changes, the one change they made is that they took Thomas Tatar, told him peace out, and they replaced him with Tyler Toffoli.
Which I don't love that swap.
I like Tyler Toffoli.
I do too. Tatar.
I really like Thomas Tatar. How is he not signed? Sidebar. How is he not signed?
I actually have no idea. I genuinely are like, okay, no one has any money. You're telling me no one has 1.5 to throw his way just so he can get to the next season? Like, maybe Pittsburgh, he won't take
New York, Buffalo.
Right, Buffalo, but Buffalo literally doesn't need him. Like, why spend the cap space when you could be in another position just to add? True. If Luke Hughes is ready, if he's really ready, that Devils team should be a favorite to win the cup, and they will be all year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, one of my favorite.
That's another team that's relying on a young gun to take a next step. Luke Hughes is legit, though.
Yeah. Oh, the biggest we should mention with the Devils, Akira Schmid. If he's the real deal, I don't see how the Devils lose before the conference finals. If their goaltending's shaky, God knows. Mm-hmm. Their offense is good enough to carry them through the season. Their defense is good enough so that, like, the goaltending doesn't have the same job that he would, say, on the Panthers.
Right.
But they need a real guy in net.
You don't think Vanacek is a starter on a middling team?
That is the only team in my top 7. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that is one of 2 teams in my top 7 that doesn't have a real goaltender that I'm like, I know what I'm getting from this guy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The other answer is going to be an issue for us, I can already tell you.
Oh, okay. All right. Go on.
Number 6 is Dallas Stars. It feels too low for them.
I have them higher.
Yeah, it feels like they should be like top 3, right?
Yep.
But the other teams ahead of them, I just respect so much, I can't bump them. Mm-hmm. I love this team.
Yeah.
Rupe Hintz. I was on Rupe Hintz before anybody. I swear to God, no one will believe that.
You were on Rupe Hintz?
I was on Rupe Hintz. Robertson's a fucking stud. Ottinger is one of my favorite goalies to watch in the league.
Yep.
This team's great.
I think they might be the most complete team in the Western Conference.
That argument is so fair. Like they're going to be in the conversation. Absolutely.
Yep.
They have a true top 7 goaltender. They have depth throughout all their forward lines. I mean, adding Duchesne and Dadonov, who I don't love, but Dadonov's serviceable in a bottom 6 role.
Sure.
Like, those are real players that you're just chucking in on this team who doesn't even really need them that much. And their defense is awesome.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, okay, they're good guys on their defense is awesome. And then there is a little bit of tail off. Sorry. I'm trying to think through their
I think their top 4 is solid.
Haskinen, Lindell.
If you take Ryan Suter and you just sort of,
but Suter was really good last year. Like,
until we got to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true.
And then he got dog walked.
Yeah. If Harley is as good as Dallas fans are telling me, then yeah, their defense is gonna be pretty loaded. I don't know. I haven't really watched any of Harley, so.
Young defenseman with upside. I mean, you can put about 20 or 25 guys in there, and you'll get what the equivalent of Thomas Harley is.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the Stars? Where do you have them?
Top 5.
Top 5. Okay, so I'm just a little shy on that.
Yeah, top 5. Definitely top 5. Definitely top 5. You never want to say this because of jinx potential, but I think they're about as close to a Western Conference Final shoe-in as it gets. I really, really like them. I really like what they are.
I would love watching that. They were the team I was rooting for after the first round last year. God, what a shit year. Shit playoff year, I should say. Any issues with my number 5 team?
Which are?
The Knights.
It seems low because cup winner, but what did they add?
Not really much.
But what did they subtract?
Not really much, right? I'm trying to think here.
Fat Phil.
Yeah, okay, who didn't play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about it.
They've got so much
They are what they are. They are the team that they were when they made the finals.
Do you know why they're not top 3 for me? And this is going to blow your mind because it's so unfair. Aiden Hill. He just did it. What is my issue? What's my issue here?
Is it do it again?
That's not fair, right? That's not fair.
But is it?
Kinda.
Okay. I'm being unfair.
Like I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right. And Aiden Hill, you look at his numbers, you're like, you've been pretty good all along, and I just can't. I don't know.
I mean, if you're not sold on Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson still exists and still a solid guy.
That doesn't help me get past number 5.
Robin Leonard might come back to life.
Well, we'll leave that alone.
Get the snakes away from him.
And you know what? People will be upset that this team isn't in the top 3 either. The Colorado Avalanche.
I'm not upset at that. I'm not upset at that. They're trying to fill in. They're trying to fill in their 4th line with PTOs. Kind of not a great sign for what they think about the depth. And also, they're missing Landeskog again. That's a big loss.
I don't know why I believe this. I think he's going to be ready game 1 of the playoffs.
You have been scarred by Kucherov.
I have been. I truly have been. And Stone.
Yeah.
And Taylor Hall, I guess you could say a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think so.
It's such a long shot. It's a crazy long shot.
But I don't disagree. I like a lot of what they have.
Oh, how could you not?
Best top pair in the game,
Uh,
McCartaves.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I can't think of. I mean, Fox and I don't know who usually works with him, but Fox Miller tandem.
Mm-hmm.
They might be the same side though, if I'm
Yeah.
remembering here. But that's close. But no, they've got the best top pair.
Georgiev.
Good enough. Is he a top 5 goalie? No, but he's probably right now. You'd have to give him enough respect to be top 12, maybe top 10.
Okay.
And honestly, the drop off after number 7 on a goalie list is pretty severe.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you get to that Oettinger and then the next guy, you kind of go like, is it Georgiev? You know?
I'm trying to think of how you would put. Wait a minute. You're right. I do have a problem with this.
What is it?
You have Toronto higher than them.
Oh, I do. I do.
I also know that I have a problem with your number 1 team, but we'll get to that.
Oh, we want to talk about fundamental disagreement. We'll get there. I love this Colorado team. I'm going to feel really silly when Makar is healthy and their whole defensive squad is healthy, and their top 6 is still running through teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Druin looks completely resurfaced, and I'm going to feel like an idiot when they put up fucking 120 goals over their first 30 games.
You know who is an underrated pickup, but is a huge pickup for them? Ross Colton.
I mentioned Colton in the video that I did. I think he's gonna be great. And somebody immediately argued he's not gonna be in the top 6, and I'm like, he really might be. He really might be.
Even if he's the 3C, he's getting second power play time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be really good for them.
Yeah.
What's your issue with Toronto, buddy? At number 3.
I do defense and goaltending, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's potentially going to be the top pair for Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Riley and John Klingberg.
I did a little deep dive into this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your top 4. You got Riley, Klingberg, Brody, McCabe. You've got a puck mover, and you've got a defensive defenseman on each.
Yep.
You have a plan for each of those pairs. And if you look at last year's tape, and because look, when I put together this list, there's a few teams that I went back and watched some stuff on, just to make sure I wasn't out of my mind as Toronto rose and rose and rose. They're actually really solid. Their numbers are really good. Analytically, they're really good at the role they're supposed to be playing. Their third pair leaves plenty to be desired, but those names aren't sexy anymore. They were 5th defensively last year.
Their third pair is Liljegren, Giordano, correct?
Yeah, which is fine. It's not good, but it's fine.
Giordano's corpse, rather.
And their forwards, outside of Bertuzzi, all play defense. Every single one of them. Their defensemen get help.
Who's their goaltending tandem, Ian?
See, that's a concern. Total concern. I'm right there with you. You've got Samsonov,
who had a good year last year. I'm not going to sit here and just shit on them.
You've got Martin Jones,
who had a year last year. I'm not going to sit here and shit on him.
You've got Wall.
He also existed.
His name's Wall. No, go look at their goaltending numbers from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Are they top 10 in the league? No. But they're serviceable. Mm-hmm. The goaltending wasn't bad last year. Bad in pockets, but not bad overall. This team's biggest weaknesses that people keep bringing up to me, I go, they're not as bad as everyone's making it out to be.
You trust Sheldon Keefe then? Is Sheldon Keefe as bad as everyone's making him out
That's my biggest issue with the team. I think Sheldon Keefe's a fraud. I think he's a complete fraud. But if I'm looking at this roster,
can you win in the NHL in spite of your coach?
Yes. We've seen that plenty. We've seen that plenty.
Can you win a title Because you have them right on the precipice of the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Can you win a title?
When
In
Claude
spite of
Julien
it.
won a cup.
That wasn't in spite of Julian.
It felt like it was a little bit.
I don't think so.
I think coaching matters in this league. I think at this point that team's going to take over.
Are we at an age of the NHL where that can happen, where we can rally around how much we hate the coach? This isn't Mike Keenan. This isn't Keenan Puck.
Well, maybe. I legitimately think Keith holds them back. I'm not arguing with that at all. I think this team's good enough to be a top 3 team in the league. And I think the past couple of years have shown that. I don't think that's a stretch of the imagination at all.
Yeah, you have them right on the cusp of a cup.
They are the second best defensive team, defensive numbers in my top 5 from last year. Their biggest weakness, right? Full healthy season from Matthews.
Their biggest weakness is coaching. I agree with that.
Their biggest weakness is coaching. Their biggest
weakness is coaching. Because I mean, you had kind of an inmates running the asylum sort of thing happening when Sheldon Keefe tried to coach last year. He called out some effort and then apologized for it. When have you seen that?
I mean,
what an absolute throw pillow.
What did they call the stupid hype movie that they made before the season?
All or Nothing.
All or Nothing. All or Nothing. How we said it after we watched that. We went, how do you watch that and have any faith in Keefe? Any faith after watching that?
Just an absolute
nobody on the team respects him. No one gives a shit about him.
He's a herb, which is why I think Toronto's a top 5 team.
Yeah,
I'll concede that they're a top 5 team. Their questions are big enough that I think can truly hold them back to what they truly can be. More so than any of the other teams on this like top 6 or 7 list. Even Buffalo.
I think 3 feels right for Toronto. I'm not going to back it off from that. I genuinely think 3 feels just right for them.
I'll go 5 or 6. I'm not going any higher.
Okay. Carolina, we don't have to talk about.
Well,
you have them at number 1. You have them at number 1.
We're still waiting for them to lose the conference finals.
They didn't lose a game yet.
They haven't lost yet. You want to talk about okay. All right.
The coach is good. You can't make that comparison. The coach is good.
Rob Brind'Amour's a good coach. A good coach. I hate him on a molecular level. He is the most insufferable wang in the NHL in terms of coaches. Right now. No.
There's got to be somebody. Come on, work with me here.
No, there isn't.
He's pretty insufferable.
And if our fearless leader co-host was with us, he would agree with me, and you know it.
Yeah, well, he's a little biased. I think he burns Canes jerseys for fun. All right.
He'd also be correct because he's agreeing with me.
Oh, all right. Here's my issue. Here's my actual issue with the Canes.
Speaking honestly about the Canes, if you're talking about the product on the ice, I can't find a hole.
Outside of, it's like they're so good. Structure amazing. Defense perfect. They are the perfect defensive team.
Tony DeAngelo will be placed right where he needs to be.
Right where he needs to be. And you have 7 other NHL defensemen on that roster.
Caleb Jones is their number 7 defenseman.
That's so good.
That dude would start in about 2/3 of the league.
He might be their number 7. Like, wait, hold on. Where's Chatfield then?
He's their number 8.
You cannot have Chatfield at number 8. That's how good Chatfield
sure
is.
You can.
So here's
Burns,
the issue.
Slavin, Pesce.
The best defensive team in the league, forwards and defense,
is Carolina. And yes, you are correct. I have them at number 1.
Without an elite goaltender. They don't even need an elite goaltender. In fact, an elite goaltender would be a waste of money for this squad right
They
now.
have two good
They have
goaltenders.
two good goaltenders.
Yes.
Offensively,
3, actually, if you want to count Kochetkov.
offensively, they have Aho and Svechnikov, and they have these young guys in Jarvis and Nachas and Jesper Fast and Teravainen, and they have all of these guys up and down the Kotkaniemi, all
Michael
these
Bunting.
guys. Bunting now, yes. All these guys. Where did they rank last year offensively?
Weren't they kind of middle of the pack? No.
15th.
Oh, wow.
Basically dead center. There's an issue there. That team should not be 15th. And
Why
you
do you
know
think
what?
that is? Do you think they sacrifice offense for defense?
Oh, yeah. And look, these guys aren't as good offensively at goal scoring as we give them credit for sometimes. I love Svechnikov. I love Aho. They're brilliant. They would score more if they had a different structure. But are they superstars offensively? I don't know. I haven't seen any proof of it.
There's a lot of good, but that's they are the Digivolve version of the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it. They roll lines. They shut you down. You can't take the puck from them. And even when you do, there's nowhere to go with it. Here's the issue.
There are a lot of guys that can score goals, but there's no one guy you can turn to score the goal.
Right. That's exactly it. When it comes down to the marrow, when someone has to land the punch, when they have to look the other guy in the eye and go, I am going to fuck you up. No one. There's no one. There's no one to do it. And at the end of the day, it's not about star power so much as it's about the guy. The guy changes. Justin Williams was the guy for this team. Yeah. Was he on the first line all the time? No.
He was on the first line almost none of the time.
But he was the guy.
He was the guy. He was Robert Ory. You tap him on the shoulder and be like, there's 4 minutes left. There's 4 minutes left in a tie game in the third period. And he'd score one for you.
They play the numbers, and eventually it'll work out for them. They will win a cup. I truly believe that. But it's hard to really bet on them because you just go, all right, statistically, you're going to keep throwing quantity over quality, and eventually it's going to work out for you because you control a puck all the time.
1,000 monkeys on 1,000 typewriters.
Yeah. Just takes 1,000 years.
Yep, exactly. Well, it takes 1,000 years to play a conference final.
Let's get into this. We got to get into this.
No, fuck you. No, they are not number one. They are not number one. They have 2 of the top 5 players in the world.
In the world?
In the world. In the world. I will not deny that. I will never deny that. I'm not that stupid. I'm a little stupid. I'm not that stupid. 2 of the top 5 players in the world.
In the world?
Connor McDavid is Mario Lemieux. He is this generation's Mario Lemieux. And he will continue to be this generation's Mario Lemieux for years to come. Leon Draisaitl will be his Yager for years to come. Absolutely. 100%. Who's their Ron Francis?
Nugent Hopkins. Sorry.
Zach Hyman? Zach Hyman?
I mean, look, are we going to act like that team's not loaded offensively?
They're 4 deep.
Are they 4 deep?
5 deep. They're 5 deep. Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, Hyman.
Okay. So there's your 5 of your top 6, right? And maybe you don't have a true other top 6 guy. Maybe you don't. But
you have Warren Fogle, Derek Ryan, Ryan McLeod,
Janmark,
Matthias Janmark. I hate their bottom 6.
You hate their bottom 6. I think that's a solid grouping.
I
think it's a solid grouping.
I don't.
I think that's just fine. It'll get the job done. Are they a good bottom 6? They're not going to score a lot of goals or anything like that.
No, well, you don't need that from your bottom 6.
You don't need that, not on this team.
You don't need that from your bottom 6, but I can't look at this team and say they are the best team in the NHL. Can't do it.
Will they win the President's Trophy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Will they win a cup? I don't know if they have enough for a cup.
I think they're exactly the team with enough for the cup. This is why. So I love their defense this year. And healthy, I love their defense this year.
Nurse Bouchard is your top pair. I would take about 5 or 6 top pairs before them.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. If they're the 6th best top pair in the league, super comfortable with that. Ekholm's been great for them. Cece's been really good for them. Kulak's been good for them. Like
Ekholm, Kulak is your second pair, and I love Ekholm. But after that, I think you're giving way too much credit. I think you're giving way too much credit to a guy like Kulak or a guy like Cece or a guy like Vincent Desharnais.
Desharnais I didn't mention, and I didn't mention him on purpose. Do I love their bottom pair?
He's their forward.
Yeah. Do I love their bottom pair? No. Bouchard, I love. I think his emergence has been huge for them. Just stunningly good for them.
Right.
Your problem with this team right now is, can Skinner be the guy between the pipes? And that's a real concern. I've got you.
Yeah.
My reason for loving this team as a cup pick is because when it gets down to the marrow.
Man, that's you love that phrase today.
Today I do. You've got 4 guys who can land a knockout punch.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a real team behind McDavid and Draisaitl. And you have McDavid, who very well may score 180 points in a season in his career. That's how fucking good this guy is.
He's the best player in the world.
He's the best player in the world by a lot. Like, you're telling me you can statistically go through all of these teams and are you looking at God right now?
I'm trying to think of how big the chasm is between him and Makar. Makar is the second best player in the world.
Yeah, Makar is the second best player in the world. You can look at all of these teams in our top 10 or whatever your top 10 is. And statistically, the playoffs start. And you start picking people to win series.
Yep.
And no matter how good the team they're going against is, you look at it and go, how many points does McDavid average a game in this series? And then you go, okay, in years past, my issue was, who fucking cares? Because defensively, they're going to give up 4 to 5 a game. That's no longer true in my mind.
You're higher on the defense than I am, Boyo.
It doesn't even have to be by a lot. I don't have to say they have a top 10 defense in the league. I just have to say it's top 15, and I'm real comfortable with it. Goaltending concerns me. Absolutely concerns me.
This is where the fundamental difference really comes through.
But what you're really missing here is we're talking about matchups. And if we're just talking about matchups, I never pick a team to beat the Canes because at the end of the day, it just feels like they're going to control the puck the whole time, get the better chances, and win the series. It doesn't always work out that way, obviously.
They'll win every game 3-2. But maybe Edmonton wins every game 5-4.
This Edmonton team is so capable of scoring 5 to 6 goals a game against a good defense, against a Vezina caliber goalie. They could score 5 to 6 and not give up 5 to 6 the other way. They finally built a real team, and everyone has it in their heads that they have to build this just juggernaut. But because of how good their best 2 players are, it doesn't have to be a world beater behind them. It just has to be finally a real hockey team, and finally that's what they have.
But doesn't that sort of bring it to where it's just Connor McDavid and friends? Can you win a cup in this NHL with the amount of parity that there is? Can you win a cup with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, maybe a couple of other really good players, and just a lot of flotsam and jetsam?
It's not flotsam and jetsam. It's NHL caliber players. That's the difference. That's why these margins are so thin. Do I put them above the Canes by a long shot? Absolutely not.
I don't think they have enough.
Oh, I do. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. But what McDavid showed me last year, I don't know. It's a whole new level. If it makes you feel any better. I started with Edmonton 5th. And then the more I researched the teams, the higher they got. And then they just ended up first, where they belong.
I'm gonna go with an adage that I use a lot in my life. Whether it works or not is totally up for debate. First thought, best thought.
That is not how my life works, but I appreciate that you think I'm smart enough for that. All right, so before we move on then, before we end this, the Canes are above the Oilers for you.
Yes.
Is Toronto?
No.
Is Colorado?
No.
Is Vegas?
No. Dallas.
Hold on.
You
have Canes, Dallas, Oilers, and have the audacity to call me out for my Oilers take?
I have Canes, Stars, Oilers,
Avs,
Leafs. Canes, Stars, Oilers, Avs, Leafs. Canes,
and then
Stars,
Vegas
my cup.
at 6, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I have Canes, Stars as my cup final.
God, that would be not exactly a fun final in my mind. The Canes in a final isn't very fun to me. Not because I dislike the Canes, but because the play style isn't very.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Canes Islanders conference final might actually end my life.
A Canes Islanders first round almost ended your life.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But there's so much other good hockey to watch, so,
Yeah, right.
All right. Hey, thanks for jumping in on this one day that definitely didn't span 3 days due to technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And it only took us like 20 minutes. Definitely not. This video is going to be like 2 hours long, isn't it?
Let's see. 40. Yeah, about 2 hours.
I have some editing to do. Anything you want to plug before you go?
I am currently in the middle of a 32 team breakdown on my other show, Puck Off.
Nice.
Which is why I was able to so thoroughly just smack you around on camera.
Yeah.
More.
Glad we both understand how this went. And guys, the short shift is coming back too.
We are. Everything is lining up. We got an episode on the pike. And I believe we're recording this week.
Yep. The episode that will first come out might be a little outdated, but it'll be fine.
The first episode that came out was recorded, I believe, 5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. I will make sure to announce it here, how to find it and properly and everything like that.
Yep.
And obviously check our Twitters. Andrew's Twitter will be below. A link to Puck Off, I'm sure I'll put below. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff.
Good. Thanks for having me, man. This was great.
I'm sure we're gonna do more of this through the season. There's honestly a bunch of people that I just really genuinely want to do more collabs with this year. We'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah. And anything else that you want to advertise or plug before?
On my own channel?
He has a YouTube channel, guys.
No, I think I'm good. I appreciate that, though. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff editing after this to make you look stupid.
You don't need to edit for that. You know this.
Thanks so much for joining me, man. And we're gonna hang out, I think, tomorrow night to record again. So
we are, yeah.
Just can't get sick of each other, I guess.
Nope, absolutely. I'll have to hide it.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, bud.
Go Bees!
Go Bees!